Milwaukee Tuesday for a campaign event. Kamala Harris heads to Arizona today for a visit along the U.S.-Mexico border. ABC's Karen Travers has a preview.
Her first trip to the U.S. southern border in more than 3 years, Vice President Harris today is expected to call for tougher security measures and criticize former President Donald Trump, an effort to go on offense on a key election issue, one that polls show Trump has an advantage.
Travel along the East Coast pretty challenging as now Tropical Storm Helene marches through the southeast. At one point, more than 1,000 flights were canceled, with airports in the storm's path seeing the most. More from ABC's Stephanie Ramos at Newark Liberty International Airport.
The largest impact is being seen right now in the southeast. Hundreds of flights canceled over the past 2 days in Charlotte, Atlanta, and Tampa as Helene moves through. And with multiple airports closed in Florida ahead of the storm's arrival, including Tampa International and St. Pete Clearwater, we could see ripple effects for flyers heading into the weekend.
At least 6 people are dead in the aftermath of Helene. 1 person killed in Tampa last night after a highway sign fell onto their vehicle. Another 2 people dead in Wheeler County, Georgia, after a possible tornado hit a mobile home. 2 more confirmed dead this morning in Jeff Davis County, Georgia, the result of trees falling on mobile homes, and a 6th death being reported in North Carolina. Universities of Wisconsin Board of Regents unanimously voted to fire former UW lacrosse chancellor Joe Gow from his faculty teaching position. Gow has been on paid leave from his position since the Regents fired him as chancellor in December of 2023, shortly after university leaders became aware of videos made by Gow and his wife that were posted on pornographic websites. At a meeting in June, a UWL faculty committee recommended Gow lose his tenured position, stating that his outside activities harmed the university's reputation. We've got another big closure this weekend on the roads.
Yep, this weekend it's the big 54-hour closure of the eastbound side of 894. Starting at 11 p.m. tonight, all the lanes of 894 eastbound will be closing from the Hale interchange to the Mitchell interchange. Along with this, the ramp from 894 westbound to I-43 southbound, the Rock Freeway, in the Hale interchange will be closed as well. Drivers should be using other regional routes like 894 northbound to 94 or even Layton to get around this. And everything should be reopened by 5:30 on Monday morning. Just remember, this work is weather dependent. Debbie Loziga, WTMJ News.
Actress Maggie Smith has died. She won an Oscar for The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie in 1969 and won new fans in the 21st century as the Dowager Countess of Grantham in Downton Abbey and Professor Minerva McGonagall in the Harry Potter films. Maggie Smith was 89. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 182 points, NASDAQ up 39, S&P 500 up 10. Get an honest opinion of where you are financially and where you're headed. Work with a fee-only fiduciary. Start at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:04.
Listen to The Fix-It Show this Saturday morning in the 7 o'clock hour with special guest Chris Mancuso from Accurate Basement Repair. Chris will discuss and answer questions about basement problems and solutions. Accurate Basement Repair serves all of southeastern Wisconsin with comprehensive, cost-effective basement repairs, including foundation restoration and waterproofing. Check them out online at AccurateBasementRepair.com and listen to The Fix-It Show this Saturday starting at 7 a.m. with Accurate Basement Repair's Chris Mancuso.
Don't miss out on the ultimate travel event of the year. The Fox World Travel Vacation Showcase is coming to Neenah on October 6th. Planning your dream vacation has never been easier. Our expert travel advisors and travel partners will make your planning a breeze with their insider tips that will make your vacation truly extraordinary. Plus, we'll have exciting giveaways with our sponsors, Celebrity Cruises, Viking, Insight Vacations, and more. Don't wait. Register online at foxworldtravel.com now.
Hi, everyone. Jeff Levering here. And when we moved into our home 10 years ago, we knew the time had come to replace our roof. That came sooner than we thought with the storms during the spring. So we called the pros at Ridgetop Exteriors, and they did more than just live up to their motto, trusted, local, and affordable. Within just a few weeks, we had our new roof picked and completed. Their team treated us just like family, and the customer service was a real home run. Give Ridgetop Exteriors a call and book your appointment today to ensure your project gets completed before the next big storm.
When is the last time you paid less but got more in return? It happens every day if you or a loved one has Medicare Advantage. $0 copays and an average of $2,500 less out-of-pocket annually, but more benefits like dental, hearing, and vision. More prevention and screenings to keep people healthy. More care for less money. No wonder 33 million seniors choose Medicare Advantage. Visit MedicareAdvantageMajority.org to learn more. Paid for by Medicare Advantage Majority.
The Brewers Hunt for Brew October on WTMJ is sponsored by Delta Dental.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers edge the Pirates 5-2 to claim their series from Pittsburgh. Brewers host the Mets tonight in their last regular season series. Badgers resume the college football season this weekend. Wisconsin duels number 16 USC from LA Memorial Coliseum tomorrow afternoon. Packers face a tough test this weekend for Week 4. Team squares off against the Vikings in an NFC North showdown from Lambeau Sunday. Green Bay third in the division at 2-1 following a comfortable win over the Titans last weekend. Minnesota is undefeated, leads the division. Jordan Love considered a game-time decision after he was limited again in practice yesterday. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. That crash on the ramp from northbound Moreland Road from I-94 West has been cleared. No other major delays to report this hour. There are typical drive times. 94 east from Highway 16 to the Zoo, about a 10-minute drive. 43 south Brown Deer Road to the Marquette interchange, about 11 minutes. And 94 north from Layton to the Marquette, about 7 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Some thin high clouds today, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Mostly cloudy and breezy tonight, low 62. Partly cloudy tomorrow, slight chance of a shower, mainly south. High 72 to 75. Partly cloudy Sunday and Monday with highs in the mid to upper 70s both days, then mostly sunny on Tuesday, high of only 67. 54 in Madison, 57 in Green Bay, 67 in Milwaukee. I'm Claudine Weber, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
Oh, good morning. You know what today is? Day 38 in our big countdown to the election. Sounds something like this.
It's time for the countdown to the election on the Political Power Hour.
All right. As they often do, Joseph Heckey, Democratic strategist, and Bill McCoshen, who is on assignment and on the road. We're going to talk about polling because, gentlemen, polling is a big story in this race. And Bill McCoshen, I'm going to you first. Can you please tell me why you're being so optimistic when almost every polling agency, organization, poll that I've seen suggests the trends are good for Harris and not so good for Trump? Bill, what are you pointing to? What are you looking at? What are you seeing?
So whether it's the AARP, CBS, CNN, they all have the race nationally within a point or two. Some have Trump up, some have her up. All of the polling, Steve and my good friend Joe, is better for Trump than it was in 2020. And frankly, ahead of where he was in 2016. And let's not forget, both of those cycles missed his numbers. 2020 was the furthest off by at least 6 points. So if he's within a couple on national polling, I think it's good news for the Trump campaign.
Joe, are they better than they were like a month ago, though? Which is how you identified trends.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's listened to this program knows that I am skeptical of all public polling. I found some real grist for my particular mill this week. A book by W. Joseph Campbell, Lost in a Gallup, as in the Gallup polling organization, polling failure in U.S. presidential election demonstrates for the first time, strangely enough, given the robust persuasiveness of its conclusions, that presidential polls are almost always wrong consistently in deeply patterned ways. We know that the polling was off in 2016. We know it was off in 2020. Why do we think that we have suddenly figured this out in 2024? And that is why I have always said election results are signal. Polls are just noise.
So you're looking at like the 2022?
The most recent elections, and particularly the post-Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade, leading to these Trump abortion bans. Democrats haven't had a bad election night in a while. And when you look at every other indicator other than these publicly available polls. Donations, infrastructure, momentum. Kamala Harris appears to be doing really, really well. And so I'm not suggesting that this is going to be some 49-state blowout or something like that. I'm just saying that you would rather be Kamala Harris today than Donald Trump, who doesn't really have a campaign message other than trying to scare people around the border and seems to be spending parts of every week hawking his latest Trump coin or Trump
What's
watches.
the newest thing? $100,000 watch?
$100,000 watch.
Bill, do you have one of those on order?
I don't. No.
What, Bill?
I
Bill,
get my hair cut at Great Clips, and I have a pretty basic watch.
I love that. Bill, what should we trust when it comes to these sort of numbers of the polling or where this race is? I mean, ultimately, votes are what are going to decide it. And in the last week, I have heard from both sides really smart people who have said, no, this thing's over. Trump's going to win easily. And on the other side, Harris, she's got this. It's done. What do we make of this?
Well, I think it's close to over. And while it could go either way, I think this is 97% of people who are actually going to vote have made up their mind. I don't think there's and definitely in Wisconsin, I think that's the case. And all the polling here shows it within 1 point either way. There are 3 polls out this week that had Harris up 1. One has Trump up 1 in the state of Wisconsin. Trump's coming to Prairie du Chien. Joe made some very good points. Trump is the anomaly in this. I think he's the X factor on the 2 big misses in 2016 and 2020 because it's hard to poll people who support him. And this is going to creep out all of your listeners, but let me tell you, both sides know everything about you. If you're listening to this program, both sides have a voter score on you, and they know everything about you. And if you only vote when Donald Trump's on the ballot, they know that. And Republicans are trying to turn you out. If you vote all the time, those are called high propensity voters. Democrats are focused on you. So there's a lot of science behind all of this that you don't see, that doesn't match up with the polls. And, we could be surprised on election night. I think we were surprised at how close it ultimately became in 2020 because it looked like Joe Biden had an opportunity to run away with this thing. But I think Donald Trump is actually in a much better position than he was in 16 and definitely 20.
I was going to go to break, but I got to give Joe at least a little chance to respond to it. The optimism from Bill McCoshen on the other side.
I agree with Bill.
Joy. It's joy.
I agree that 97% of people know who they're going to vote for.
Yeah.
At this point, it becomes a contest between people who know who they're going to vote for, but getting them out to vote or sitting on the couch because they think it's over or they're not sure. And that's where the Harris advantage on infrastructure and resources comes into play.
Ground game,
That's
right?
real.
Yeah, ground game.
Yep.
All right. Bill McCoshen, Joe Zepecki, lots more to talk to. Is this election going to be about, when you talk about issues and policy, is it about the economy, gas and groceries, or is it about international policy and national security? We'll talk about that with my 2 smart guests, regular contributors on the Friday edition of the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch.
Go to a place of safety now. A tornado warning is in effect.
The danger in the thunderstorm alone is definitely there. We have wind gusts where it's at 50 miles per hour and lots of lightning in this storm system.
Keeping you updated on the weather so you can keep you and your family safe with severe weather coverage on WTMJ. Sponsored by Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. If you listen to the show, I love talking about Heiser. I've driven their vehicles for 5 years. I appreciate all of that. Driving a Chevy Equinox now, which will be changed out pretty quick here. But my wife, Kathy, and I bought a brand new Trailblazer, Chevy Trailblazer 2024. It's so much fun to drive. I was in it again last weekend, and when she lets me drive it, just kidding. Sterling gray metallic, looks fantastic. All the safety and technology, that's something that we really insisted on. And they can walk you through all the special features and built-ins in this program, safety and security with Chevy, that you will appreciate and love, and it'll make you feel safer and make the drive so much smoother and better. All the great programs, safe and sound, vehicle exchange. It's the time to buy cars, pre-owned or new. This is the time. And Heiser Automotive has so many great deals and values right now. Check it out. Check it out at Heiser.com. Easy to do. Click away. Or 5 great locations in southeastern Wisconsin. They are so friendly, so willing to work with you. You can take time. You can do it quickly, however you feel comfortable. That's why they're so good at customer service. That's why I love working with Heiser and always have, always will. I bought a car probably 15 years ago from them. I love working with Heiser. You will too. That's why they say every day, today's your day.
Hey there, Wisconsin. It's Dave from Feldco. The seasons are changing and cooler temps are on the way. Are your windows ready?
Pets.
Feldco's energy-efficient, American-made windows are specifically designed for the Midwestern elements. It's the perfect time to make valuable upgrades to your home that'll keep you warm, safe, and comfortable. Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Visit us at 4feldco.com for a free quote or just give us a call. You know the number.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4Feldco.
I said the text out loud in the commercial break from somebody in the 414. This man eats pets. I don't know if they're talking about Bill or...
I don't know if they were talking about me.
Yeah, they're not talking about maybe you.
Big dog guy.
It's a very generic text, so I apologize for jumping into the commercial break there. All right, gentlemen, I'll start with you, Joe. What is this race about? Is it gas and groceries? Is it the international policy? Benjamin Netanyahu speaking to the UN, assembled groups saying a lot of interesting things today in front of the assembled nations of the world. What is this race? National security? What's this race about?
You know I hate to dodge, but it is about all of it. It is so unusual that we have a former president running again after losing. So we know more about the type of president that the challenger is in this case to the out party. You know, he's the nominee of the out party. But whoever you are, whatever you care about, there is a contrast, right? There's not a lot other than no taxes on tips that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump agree on.
He said it first.
Sure. When it comes to national security, Trump would leave NATO, abandon Ukraine, it would seem, hand over parts of Ukrainian territory to Russia. Kamala Harris will continue to support our allies in Ukraine. On the economy, you have a Trump policy, I'm using air quotes here, plan that basically boils down to tariffs and tax cuts. We've seen what his tax cuts do in the past. They go to those at the top. The Kamala Harris plan is about building the middle class. We saw dueling economic speeches. Maybe we'll talk more about that. It's also about character and who these people are. We know that Donald Trump is an agent of chaos. We know that he is someone who disregards the rule of law, has been convicted of 34 felonies, is facing other felony indictments versus a career prosecutor who I think really shared some of who she was this week when she said, you break into my house, you're getting shot, and is a gun owner. And that's, I said this in our text thread, that's maybe the most popular shared belief that a Democratic politician has uttered in the 21st century. And I think it's a good look at who she is and the type of person she is. So the contrasts are clear between these two candidates, and it is on all of the issues.
All right, Bill, issues, policies, and on the gun question, maybe even what kind of gun she has.
Yeah, so I wish our listeners could see our text chain from time to time because it's
I don't know about that, Bill.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little over the top, but we try and give you, the listeners, a fun fact or two along the way. So Joe brought up this is the first time, it's actually in almost 130 years since a former president has run for his seat. Grover Cleveland was the last one to do it in the 1800s, and he ran against Benjamin Harrison, who had beaten him 4 years prior. The issue in that race, ironically, was protective tariffs. Grover Cleveland lost his race in 1886 because he was against tariffs, protective tariffs. Harrison was for him, and he won. So here we are 130 years later talking about similar things. I think the issues, I just got asked this question at the Eau Claire Chamber of Commerce. I just gave an election update. Would have been fun to have my left side, Joe Zepecki, with me doing it. I think there were some in the audience who were discouraged by what I had told them, but that's part of the fun of it. I think the issue is the economy, and that's far and away the number one issue, not only nationally but in every single state. I think that's a significant advantage for Trump. I think immigration and the border is number two. I will agree with my friend Joe that abortion's probably number three, depending on the voter segment. It could be number one for Democrats. It's not for independents or Republicans, that's for sure. And then lastly, national security. I think those are the four issues. And I think Trump has a significant lead on three of those. I would say, and I think we might cover this in the next segment, on the issue of the economy, Harris has tried very hard and not well to outline a plan that is going to increase taxes on businesses by 33%. She wants to have price controls, which haven't worked in any country. She's talking about going after grocers, saying they're gouging people. They're not. Listen, I call her economic plan, where's the beef? If you remember the 80s ads for Wendy's, the old lady who says, where's the beef? Now I'm the old man saying, where's the beef? There's no there, and I think voters are very smart, and they understand that. They remember that things were better when Donald Trump was president, and ultimately I think that's going to be the deciding question. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And most voters are going to say no.
Real quick before the break, Bill, are you arguing that the tariffs that Donald Trump is proposing won't impact the consumer in a really serious negative way?
I don't think they will. I don't think there's any evidence that they did in the first term. And I was not for tariffs when he first did them. I thought it was a mistake. But I think he was able to do it effectively. And what he's talking about now is products that are made here in the U.S. If you're trying to import something that's made here in the U.S., you're going to pay a tariff on that. And so it's going to be harder. So what he's doing is giving an advantage to products made in the United States. And I think that's a good thing. And there's no evidence that it led to inflation or significant price increases during his first term.
Made in the USA legislation authored by our own Tammy Baldwin.
I knew you were going to say that.
Versions of that signed by both Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
All right, gentlemen, we got to take a break. Perfect segue from the WTMJ Talker text line. How can the Republicans keep saying the economy is terrible, terrible, terrible? It seems pretty damn good to me. We'll have that conversation. The economy, where is it at? Last time I looked at the stock market, woo, and my 401k, all good. And by the way, gas is cheaper. All right, so we'll tee that one up after the break. Political Power Hour. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen. You know where you're at, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, where's the beef?
New manager.
You're going to believe that there's a reason this group ended up first place, wire to wire.
New team.
Jackson Churio, the Wonder Kid, strikes again.
Same old crew.
Swing and a drive to right and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Go!
It's playoff baseball season. We've got a pennant in our sights. The Hunt for Brew October on WTMJ is sponsored by Delta Dental.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Our Universal Windows Direct fall is here. Well, it's sort of getting here, and it's a perfect time to replace those old drafty windows. It is the great time to put new windows in because it's not that cold yet. Don't make your heating system work overtime by having drafty windows. They can, that means Universal Window Direct can, use their super spacer technology, which keeps your home insulated, saves you money on your energy bills, and keeps you warm all season long. We know it's coming. Universal Window Direct backs it up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own your home. And get this, a 20-year warranty for the next homeowner. Now, that's a warranty. Call Universal Windows Direct today, 414-410-2000. I'll give you it one more time. Grab a pen. 414-410-2000. Every 2 windows you buy, 2 free, 4 you get it. Buy 20, get 20. No limit. Plus, if you need it, 0% financing. That's why you should call Universal Windows Direct today.
Spend your lunch break with Greg Matzek.
When there's an anniversary, the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum tends to find a way to get behind it.
And Jessica Ty.
They're like using the most famous monument in France to establish one's dogma and remind the whole world forever that you made the 2024 Olympics.
During Wisconsin's Midday News.
College student, bartending, I had a lot of cash. In fact, that's all I had was cash.
Just dollar bills.
Right, and because you didn't have mobile deposit.
Only on WTMJ.
When you need emergency service 24/7, any time of the day, any day of the year, call Quality Heating. With one of Wisconsin's largest HVAC fleets, you can count on us being there in a hurry. So don't worry. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. When you're in a heating or air conditioning jam, just see the man in the red van. And he's going to have a master plan to make sure you stay comfortable.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
We will only sell products we believe in. And we believe in Armstrong Air Furnaces. With variable speed blower and multi-stage performance, Armstrong Air's most advanced furnaces deliver the highest number of features, the most comfort, and the greatest efficiency. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. To me, Armstrong Air is the professional's choice. So see the man in the red van, and we'll get you a furnace you can rely on for the long haul.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Making a move from the home you have loved and cherished for so many years can not only be a challenge for you, but can also be stressful for the entire family. This is Jean Nemelvitz from Bruce's team. Let us help you start the conversation, so when the time is right, we can make the process simple and easy, just as we've done for thousands of families. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Call 262-242-6177 or visit brucesteam.com.
Whenever you talk about the economy, and of course my Friday guests are Bill McCoshen and Joe Zepecki, the political power hour. Origin story, I like to call it. All right, so gentlemen, I'm going to go to Joe first. This is one of those things that it's really decided by the party you identify with, how you feel about the economy. It seems like it's that simple.
Yeah.
But is that accurate?
Yeah, how the economy is doing used to influence how you vote. Now how you vote influences how you feel about the economy. And there's two separate conversations here. I will acknowledge that off the bat. There's what the actual economy is doing, factually, statistically, and then there's how people feel about it.
Perception versus reality.
Right. The reality is the economy is way better than it was 4 years ago because we were, 6 months into a global pandemic.
Right.
It's also even better than it was 5 years ago. And that's the part that Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Democrats have to try to remind people while acknowledging economic pain and hardship and reality of those perceptions. But let's just take one issue when it comes to the economy. Healthcare is part of the economy. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, lowered prescription drug costs. Kamala Harris wants to build on that in her term as president by expanding, for example, the $35 cap on insulin. What Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are saying is that after 9 years on the public stage, Donald Trump has only the concepts of a plan to replace Obamacare, but he would still like to do that. J.D. Vance filled that in a little bit and said, we want to go back to these high-risk pools and junk plans. That will raise prices on consumers of healthcare, which is, oh, by the way, everyone. Republicans in Congress are saying they want to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. They're calling things like allowing the federal government the ability to negotiate for lower drug prices using bulk purchasing power nonsense that they will repeal. Those are common sense federal policies that will reduce the cost borne by American households. Between that and the stock market and the job market, you name it, the economy is better, and there's still a little bit of a disconnect. But in the polling I've seen, not the head-to-head, but like the character attributes, she's closing the gap on the economy.
All right, here's two real numbers before Bill jumps in. Dow Jones was 27,000 4 years ago. It's 42,000. Now unemployment was 6%. Now it's 4%. Bill?
So I don't think Joe and I are that far apart. I mean, the economic statistics, a lot of them are favorable, right? And certainly more favorable than they were a few years ago. The reality is there's a disconnect. There's a perception among voters is that things are worse, and they're worse off than they were 4 years ago or 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago. You want to eliminate the COVID period. And that's what's driving voters' interest in going back to the Donald Trump administration. So I think the struggle for Democrats is having an economic message that is believable, getting voters to understand that things are trending, at least some of the right indicators are trending in the right direction. They haven't been successful in doing that yet, which leads people, and all you have to do is look at the CNN poll, and I understand Joe's position on polling, but in that poll there was a fairly significant question where it asked, was the Trump presidency successful and was the Biden presidency successful? 57% of voters said the Trump presidency was successful. 38% of voters said the Biden presidency has been a success. So voters actually, their opinion of Donald Trump has improved while he's been out of office. So that's an advantage for him. And I don't think there's any question for the final 38 days. The economy is going to be the big issue, and you're going to see a lot of gaslighting on both sides about what the statistics are or aren't.
He's Bill McCoshen, Joseph Pecky alongside as well in studio. We're just getting warmed up on the Political Power Hour. We've got some conversation about a Wausau mayor. And I'll give you my take real quick here. What is he doing? But before we get to that, local news and, of course, the latest news from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The deaths of at least 2 people in Florida being blamed on Hurricane Helene, which made landfall overnight. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
We did report that there was a traffic fatality last night. We also this morning can report that there's been another fatality reported in Dixie County due to a tree falling on the home.
6 dead across the southeast as the storm moves inland through Georgia and the Carolinas. Tornado warnings and flood emergencies are in effect. At the United Nations this morning, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will fight, quote, until we achieve total victory if Hamas does not surrender.
We will return your loved ones home. We will not spare that effort until this holy mission is accomplished.
This as the Israeli military says it intercepted a missile fired from Yemen today. Israel also launched new airstrikes into Lebanon. New York Mayor Eric Adams in court this morning for his federal arraignment on corruption charges. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:31, an arrest warrant is out for a man from Milwaukee charged with strangling a woman in August of 2023 in Franksville. She survived the attack. 43-year-old Jeremy Fink failed to appear in court Tuesday for his trial. His attorney hasn't heard from him in 2 weeks. He was released on bond in May of this year. The moving city isn't so mobile right now. Milwaukee's art car designed to raise awareness of reckless driving broke down earlier this week. A month after it was launched, the city spent $88,000 to design the car, which was intended to be an outreach tool at various events. Remembering Joe Wolf, the Kohler High School basketball star, 13th pick in the 1987 NBA draft. He played for the Clippers, 8 other teams over 11 seasons in the NBA. Played for the Bucks in 1996-97. Became an assistant coach with the Bucks G League affiliate Wisconsin Herd from 2008 to 2013. Joe Wolf died of a heart attack at the age of 59. Time for some news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 338 points at 42,514. NASDAQ is down 10, 18,179. The S&P 500 is up 13 at 5,758. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. No snags out there this hour. Looks like normal drive times. The Zoo to the Market interchange take you about 6 minutes. 41-45 southbound Highway Q to the Zoo, about a 14-minute drive. And 43 southbound Brown Deer Road to the Market interchange, about a 10-minute drive this morning. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Thin high clouds today. It'll be breezy. High 74 to 77 inland. Mostly cloudy and breezy tonight. Low 62. Slight chance of a shower tomorrow, mainly south. It'll be breezy. Highs 72 to 75. Sunday and Monday, partly cloudy skies. Highs both days in the mid to upper 70s. Then Tuesday, a little bit cooler. It will be sunny, but a high of only 67. 58 in Madison, 64 now in Green Bay, and 68 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Wepper. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:33.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
I can remember the exact moment while we were sampling pizza on an East Coast food tour when we said, we need to highlight the culture and cuisine of the Midwest too. I felt drawn to showing off my hometown in a way that honored its past and present. And here we are, 16 years later, doing exactly that. I'm Teresa Emmons, founder of Milwaukee Food and City Tours and Chicago Food and City Tours. I hope you'll join us in Milwaukee or Chicago for a food tour this summer. Reserve your tour at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com or ChicagoFoodTours.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Add a chiropractic screening to your kid's back-to-school checklist. Reed came to Connect Chiro at just 9 years old. Sleep issues, headaches, getting sick all the time. I talked with his mom. He's now getting better sleep, better attendance at school, better health since she put her son in the care of Dr. Alex Young and his team. Great for kids because these docs use a special tool for all the adjustments. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. In Delafield and Wauwatosa, go Connect Chiro. That's goconnectchiro.com.
I love all those folks that say we need more Steve. I'm on your side. One of the ways you can do that is to participate in the WTMJ Fall 2024 fan survey. So the great thing about WTMJ, we actually listen to our listeners. We don't just shout at them and act like lunatics. 10 minutes is all it takes. Complete it. We want your feedback. To participate, simply text the word survey, SURVEY, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line. You know what it is, 855-616-1620. That's 855-616-1620. Yeah, like hundreds of these things already back, and a lot of more Steve loves, so I appreciate that. Survey link gets texted back to you. As a thank you for your participation, if you complete the survey, you'll be entered to win a package that includes $2 regular season tickets, game tickets, that's cool, and little extra bonus, night at the Pfister. Maybe get that ghosty room.
Is this a scenario where they can vote for Steve as like?
Well, they can
TMJ
in the comments they can say
the
more Steve, but they could vote if it's a symbolic vote. But
an election, Bill and I agree on.
Vote
Steve.
One of the texters said this.
More Steve.
One of these texters said this Friday version should be 4 hours long. I'm like, whoa! Could we fill 4 hours, Bill McCoshen?
I think we could.
All right, I'll take you up on that at some point. And don't forget. This is finally has the stamp, GKB WTMJ brass stamp of approval. I will be on this radio mic from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the 5th and 6th of November covering the election with reports from all of our great reporting staff here at WTMJ and special guests. Maybe
I'm going to pop in.
Bill, maybe you'll pop in? What do you think?
Well, we'll have to see if we can work that out.
All right. Yeah.
I'll have your people talk to my people.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot we have to go through the proper channels on that stuff. All right, gentlemen, there's a story coming from Wausau, Wisconsin. Hello. That is sort of a classic example of
tomfoolery.
Well, I call it performative politics. So
nonsense,
this newly elected mayor, relatively newly elected mayor, Doug Diney, or Diney, I don't know what it is. I called him a drama queen on the show yesterday. He puts a little costume on, moves a ballot drop box that's outside City Hall, which has no ballots in it, by the way. It's still locked, not even being used yet. He saw that it didn't have any secure bolts, which is something that probably would have happened at some point. I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, the way he should have handled this is you make that call to the city clerk who administers elections in the community and probably tie in DPW folks so they can get the bolts and the drills and all that stuff to make that happen. He decides to do a little act. He has someone take a picture of him with the dolly and the stupid hard hat on, which he probably never wore a hard hat in his life for a real job, my 2 cents. And then with the gloves on, and it gets all over CNN. He says nothing nefarious. Bill McCoshen, I want to hear what a smart Republican thinks about this, what I call a dog and pony show performative politics.
So a couple of things for the listeners. Number one, there have been 2 different court decisions as it relates to drop boxes. The prior conservative Wisconsin Supreme Court said they were illegal. When the majority flipped and now it's a progressive 4-3 majority, they switched that and said that they are legal. So honestly, there's a legal question about whether or not these things should be used in the state of Wisconsin.
No, there's not, Bill. The state Supreme Court gets to say what the law is.
Well, the previous Supreme Court said the law was different.
That's not how it works.
Not every community. Yeah, but not every community is doing drop boxes. Like no community in Washington County is doing them. No community in Dodge County is doing them. There are a lot of communities across the state who have said, you know what, these things are not as secure as they need to be, and we're not going to do it. The history on Wausau in particular, Doug Diney beat the Katie Rosenberger, was a rising star on the Democratic side. You might remember, and you can find it on Twitter, where she was twerking next to a drop box in 2020. So I think that's why he over-dramatized this thing. I get the point he was making. The reality is he says, I don't want these things in the city of Wausau, and that's his right.
But he doesn't decide that, Bill. I know that some people think the mayor's the CEO, and in some ways you are, but on elections, he's not. And for him to do what he did is wrong. And it's actually
He
potentially...
doesn't have to put those out. And by the way, if you have an absentee ballot, you can put it in any U.S. mailbox without any postage. It'll get to where it needs to go. You don't need a drop box.
Which, to be fair, are bolted into the ground.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't want to play 3-card Monty today. I just want everyone to understand that there have been 10 statewide elections since 2020 and the big lie. 10 times statewide and additional times in special elections, Wisconsinites have gone to the polls and voted. Votes have been counted. Totals have been certified. Losers have conceded. Winners have taken positions of public trust. There is no reason to believe that the 11th time we go to the polls, that your vote isn't going to count, that the count isn't going to be accurate, or that your vote is going to count less or more than anyone else's. And I say that because what we are seeing is an increase in tempo in nonsense from big liars and MAGA Republicans that has one objective: undermining your confidence in our elections. Don't fall for it. The state of Wisconsin votes more than probably almost any other state in the country between our regular spring elections. So you can have confidence, drown out the Tom Tiffanys and the Doug Dineys and the Dodge County sheriffs. I don't care what they have to say. There is defense in depth in our election administration. Your vote will count. It will be tallied appropriately, and that is what people should take away from this conversation.
Here's my bottom line. We've got to get to break here, and then we're going to get to the political junkie PowerPoint after this break. Look, we have too many people, too many different organizations, sheriffs now doing what they want to do as it relates to elections, giving speeches, showing up at campaign rallies. We have now mayors doing this. That's not how we run our elections. And for the life of me, I'm still waiting for any legal proof that drop boxes resulted in someone voting more than once or there was extra votes. I know there's a lot of claims about that, none of which have been proven in court. After the break, Political Junkie PowerPoint. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. Joe and Bill.
You want to hear mine?
Oh, that's a good tease. Coming up next on the Political Junkie PowerPoint on 620 WTMJ.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution. April 15th has come and gone. Now the love letters from the IRS and state start coming. Those certified green envelopes seem to strike fear in the person or business that gets them. You may also be lucky enough to get a personal visit from a revenue officer if you owe a lot of money. If you get a letter or visit, contact us immediately. We can help. We don't make judgments about why you got a letter or visit. We just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get cut in half with garnishments, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. If you wait, it will not go away. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Advent snoring issues, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. My poor wife Kathy had to deal with all of that stuff, the snoring especially. I did something about it. I went to Advent. Well before I was ever a spokesperson, I went to Advent and said, I got to fix this. This is not good for her or me. And in a 30-minute visit, they answered my questions. They put me at ease. And they said, you know what your problem is? It's sinuses and nasal passages. Now, everybody's different problems, different solutions. They added in a simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They got to it. They fixed it for me. Short procedure and done one of their great offices. I'm back to breathing better than ever. And here's the big one. Sleeping through the whole night. Uninterrupted sleep, if that's your goal, and it should be. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you to find out breathing well and sleeping well. More importantly, can make your nights better. Go to AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Siding Unlimited named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
We've found that the high road is worth the climb, and it's less crowded. At Semper Fi, everything we do is done to the best of our ability. There are no shortcuts. It's pretty simple. We do what we say we're going to do because we fully understand that a reputation is never given. It's always earned. It is in our nature to keep our values intact so that when we leave your job, you'll be right there to shake our hand with satisfaction. We've installed massive flat roofs and shingled huge churches, schools, and all kinds of homes from modest to extravagant, all with integrity and pride in our work. And we're going to keep doing it for generations to come. That's what Always Faithful means to us. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
It's time for the Political Junkie PowerPoint, sponsored by Two Men in a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. TwoMenInAJunkTruck.com. Joining Steve Scaffidi, here's Joe Sapecki and Bill McCoshen.
Oh, gotta give a little volume to that one. Sanford and Son. Love that song. All right, gentlemen. What do we start with? Joe, do you want to go here? I'm looking at you. So, what do you love, the first part or ditch part? What part do you want to do?
We're going to keep.
Keep.
And after 3 weeks of junking J.D. Vance...
You're giving it up?
We have a plot twist, folks.
Oh.
I am keeping 2016 and 2020 J.D. Vance.
Oh, yeah, the one that doesn't like Trump?
Because it turns out, despite this grand tale he's told about how he turned around on thinking Trump was, and this is J.D. Vance said this in 2016, that Trump might be America's Hitler. And then so the question has been posed to him fairly.
He likes new Trump.
What changed? He said, well, he did such a great job as president. It turns out that in 2020, J.D. Vance was saying, quote, Trump has just so thoroughly failed to deliver on his economic policy.
People can change their minds, Joe.
They can, but it reveals who J.D. Vance is. But I'm going to keep 2020 J.D. Vance.
All right, Bill McCoshen, keep what you love or ditch what you don't. What are you going to do first?
I'll stay on the keep. I am keeping Packer Hall of Famer Brett Favre. This week he appeared before Congress and announced for the first time he has Parkinson's disease. I would say this, and different generations who are listening to this program may have a different conclusion. To me, Brett Favre is the greatest Packer of all time. He was an absolute warrior. We never before have seen and never again will see a quarterback play 222 consecutive games. So I'm keeping Brett Favre, and I wish him all the best as he fights Parkinson's.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Parkinson thing. I would say Bart Starr is the greatest Packer of all time, but we can agree to disagree on that. All right, Joe, ditching. I
am junking Trump's abortion bans after the fall of Roe. New national survey and study this week found that at least 210 women faced criminal charges related to pregnancy, abortion, pregnancy loss, or birth in the first year after the U.S. Supreme Court ended the federal right to abortion. Dobbs created chaos in this country for women. We saw just in the last 2 weeks a young mother in Georgia who lost her life. These Trump abortion bans are dangerous. We need to fix this. Kamala Harris will sign Roe v. Wade into law legislatively. That is a top issue in this election.
All right, what are you junking there, Bill McCoshen?
So I am junking Congress people, their ability and their spouse's ability to trade stocks. This week we learned that Paul Pelosi might yet again be the greatest stock trader of all time. He traded $500,000 in Visa stock the day before the SEC charged them. So that wasn't a coincidence. It is corruption. It is insider trading. No congressperson or their spouse or their significant other should be able to trade stocks. It's not right. It's got to end on junking insider trading.
All right, here's Bill McCoshen, Joseph Pecky. That is the Political Junkie PowerPoint, sponsored by TwoMenInAJunkTruck.com. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. All right, after the break, the all-important, always entertaining, hopefully, grab bag on the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Get the most up-to-date financial advice and the freshest thinking on investments, tax strategies, estate planning, and more. You'll learn how our team-based approach at Creative Planning helps ensure all aspects of your wealth are working harder together. Don't settle for anything less than a customized and comprehensive financial plan and portfolio. Give your wealth a second look by going to creativeplanning.com/radio.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Adair Floors and Remodeling, I've used them for 20 plus years. Kitchen floor still looks amazing. Basement landing area just did it this year. Looks equally amazing. You know who did it? Adair Floors, Adair Floors and Remodeling. Bathrooms and kitchens, they do all of that. South 27th Street, Franklin, great showroom there. You can see what their product looks like. They can ask the questions. Their design team work with us. They work with you. All your flooring and remodeling needs. Home or business, by the way. Family owned and operated. Get this. 65 years. That tells you something right there. Right there in Franklin. South 27th Street, that's the border between Oak Creek and Franklin. South of Rawson on 94, north of Highway 100, Ryan Road for the locals. Stop in, tell them Scaffidi sent you, or visit them online at Adair, Adair Floors.com.
Miss any of the truth on WTMJ?
I'm representing the bull.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and catch up on moments like this.
John, if you wanted to come on the show, all you had to do, you didn't have to make Biden quit to come on the show.
And listen to the truth on WTMJ every Sunday from 7 until 9 with Dr. Ken Harris and Denise Thomas, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster! I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'd rather race for some ice cream. Let's go.
Schedule your vaccination today at Prevnar20.com.
Your only option is to replace your air conditioner, your boiler, your furnace. Vince Vitrano here for Absolute Comfort, HVAC, and Electrical, talking with the owner, Nicole. How about a second opinion?
Yes, our approach is different than most. We care for your home like it is our own. As owners, we personally come in and provide a variety of options to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So before you do any work, you can get our professional opinion that you can trust.
Absolute Comfort, HVAC, and Electrical, 262-664-9284, yourcomfortguys.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome to Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ. And yes, if you want more of that, just text the word survey, SURVEY, do the 10-minute survey, and you can win Bucks tickets and a night at the Pfister. And I guess the commentary that I'll offer is, I got no problem you saying more Steve.
Vote Steve.
Yes,
Vote Steve.
Vote for Steve. All right. Grab bag is how we always wrap up our show on Fridays. Who wants to go first? Joe?
You go to Bill first.
Bill first. All right. Grab bag, Bill McCoshen.
So Joe knows this. Steve knows this as a recovering local elected official. A lot of times you say about politicians, you know, do they remember where they came from? And I had this experience on Tuesday night. I happened to be on a prep call with my former boss, Tommy Thompson, the longest-serving governor in Wisconsin history, and former President Donald Trump. And this is a very intimate call of 6 or 7 people, and Bill McCoshen's on there. And honestly, I had to pinch myself a couple times on the call because Tommy was reciting talking points I had given him to the former President of the United States. So that's when I knew the Billy McCoshen from 2021 East 7th Street in Superior, Wisconsin was still deep inside me, and I think that's a good thing.
All right, real quick, I know you can't tell us the details of the conversation, but like, what was the general theme or message to the former president?
First of all, he's a big fan of Tommy's. And secondly, they were about to hop on a call with people who had requested an absentee ballot in the state of Wisconsin, and tens of thousands of people ended up being on that conference call, and Tommy introduced the former president, and then the president got on and encouraged people to get their mail-in ballots in early.
All right.
So early voting is okay.
Yes.
Huh. All right.
Early voting is okay.
Yeah, depending on who you talk to as a Republican. All right. Joseph Pecky, what's your grab bag for
I'm
this
sorry,
Friday?
I got to stay on politics. There's too much newsing. But for those who are unaware, Special Counsel Jack Smith has filed a sealed legal brief in court around the January 6th indictment of Donald Trump. It is possible the American people will see that before Election Day. It is up to the judge to determine whether the unofficial acts that Trump is not immune from will be spelled out in greater detail. I think that's important for people to see. We will see if it happens. And while we're on the subject of lawfare, just want to remind everybody that with this week's indictment of an arrest of New York City Mayor Eric Adams, the Department of Justice went to trial and convicted Democratic Senator Bob Menendez, secured felony convictions against Hunter Biden, has indicted Democratic Congressman Henry Cuellar, and now Eric Adams. So anytime you hear Republicans rejoinder to, Trump's 4 criminal cases, one of which found him guilty on 34 counts, you could say there's no such thing, or Democrats are so bad at this they keep locking up their own guys.
Democrats do bad things too. All right, my grab bag for this Friday as we wrap it up is I will be going to the Packers game Sunday, which is not news by any stretch, but I'm taking my 8-year-old grandson Max to his first game, and I'm sitting in my outside seats, which I haven't sat in like 10 years. I'm cautioning the folks around me. Let's lower the beer consumption. Let's be polite. Let's lower the F-bombs that typically rain out now. And the other thing is, please, I hope that Packers fans haven't sold all their tickets to the purple team, which I have a fear is going to happen. So be nice to everybody, even the Vikings fans. You can be nice to them.
Be especially nice to Aaron Jones.
Yes, he is a hero.
Yeah,
he is a genuine Packers hero, and he's always done the right thing. Tremendous respect for him, and I will cheer for him even though he's on the purple, which is hard for me to even say those words. Gentlemen, we'll do it again next week. Bill McCosh and you, Joseph Pecky.
I will be in the studio.
Yes, and Joe, you do whatever you do when you're not here.
Go Brewers!
Go Brewers!
By the next time we see, hopefully they will have won a playoff series.
Thanks for listening to Political Power Hour. Jeff Sherman, The Upswing, coming up next right here at 620 WTMJ.
The Brewers Hunt for Brew October on WTMJ is sponsored by Delta Dental.
So here's why